watching the documentary that I made last year when COVID first started, and I started doing it to give a point to it, and I really didn't know which way it was going to go. I don't think we would have anticipated, the kind of the bumpy road that it's been, and I think if we had known that, it would have been worse from the start. I think the end of the last documentary, it was, we were starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. Things were getting better, but also you had this kind of fear, worry, or you just kind of knew it was inevitable that we were going to enter a second wave. People were getting complacent and just wanting to get on with their lives, and then the government came up with their fantastic scheme of help out, eat out to help out, which was great for the idea of opening businesses, but it was just too optimistic and it wasn't realistic. I chose myself not really to go to cafes or anything because COVID was still around. It's still going to be spread, and it was just only a matter of time, really, which we saw as the schools went back, and that was all done so quickly. Everything happened so quickly. Everything was opened up, and then you didn't really know which bit was causing the problem. And then, so most of the summer I kind of spent doing my own thing, going to the beach, all those things that you could still really enjoy, but really still felt safe, meeting friends, but socially distancing. And it was a nice summer. Testing out my new waterproof pouch. I'm really hoping that it's waterproof. It probably is ballet elastic, but I thought it was skin coloured.
I will fix it.
A bit hot in it outside. Welcome to the start of the documentary about the making of the swimming book by Drifty, Pebbles, Flo, and Crabby. What are you?
Crabby.
Still allowed to meet one other person. We were outside at a distance, and so I chose to meet my friend Charlotte. The next day she found out she had COVID. Thankfully she was okay. She was not very well for a couple of weeks, but she was okay. But because I was following all the recommendations and everything, I was fine. I wasn't really worried at all because we were a good 2 meters apart.
I got the measles. I got the measles.
So that was a bit of fun on Halloween. I think, that was what kept us going last year, was thinking of occasions and celebrating them at home. And I think we were really lucky as a family that there was more of us. We weren't on our own. Most of the time we get on really well. I think after Halloween, coming into November, was possibly maybe when we started seeing the new variant. And although it wasn't really talked about, you could see on the Isle of Wight coming up to that Christmas that something had changed and the numbers were skyrocketing. We'd been put into the whole country was sorted into different levels, 1 to 4, and we were putting in the lowest level, so we had the fewest restrictions. But all that meant was that people were coming over here to go to the pubs, and it was not rocket science to see what was going to happen. And the numbers started going up, and I started seeing lots of friends of mine getting COVID who had children at a certain high school. It was different from before. It did seem to be easier to catch, and then it was Christmas, and the government had relaxed the rules slightly, then gone back on it, but a lot of people were still seeing friends and family, and the numbers went up really steep, and the hospital admissions went up, and that's when we went into the January lockdown.
Hello, I'm Snow White, and I live here in this little house with my horrible stepmother. These are the knights that look after her. Just go and do something else, Snow White. I've just about had enough of you. I'm going inside. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Snow White is the fairest of them all. You have to be kidding me. Where is she? What's that, Pusscat? My evil stepmother wants me dead. I must run away. Snow White ran out and straight to the house of the 7 key workers, who she knew would help her. Oh, come in, Snow White. What on earth's going on? Come and tell us all about it. Pete, Gun, we're always telling you, don't point it at people, it's for work use only. Sorry, Snow White, come and sit down. My lovely cat came and told me that my evil stepmother wants to get rid of me. Okay, well, you'll be safe here. We've got to go to work, but we'll see you later. Bye. 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 Ho ho ho. She'll never guess it's me. Ooh, somebody at the door. Hello, I've got a special drink for you if you would like it. Oh, thank you, that's so kind. That's just what I need. Snow White took the drink and drank it, and felt very sleepy and got into bed. Some time later, the 7 key workers returned home after their very long shifts. Snow White was still asleep. I'll get it. Hello, I just wanted to say how grateful I am for all the work that you've done. You're all amazing. Every one of you, even you, Santa. It's just amazing. Snow White, I didn't see you there. This is my girlfriend and I love her. Colin, is that really you? Yes. Come on, let's go and live happily ever after, Snow White, away from your wicked stepmother.
2021, he might be allowed in the house again.
How peculiar. He chooses not to eat his dinner, but instead to take a photograph. This is very unusual behaviour for the Homo sapiens.
If it just says Seb, it's from.
Because Mum's too important to put who it's from on the label.
I'm just too lazy, actually.
So the third lockdown came about as the numbers got higher. I'd made a decision not to send the children to school anyway, just because the numbers were getting too high. And I could kind of foresee that the schools would shut, and they did. Every time I've kind of predicted that right. So I kept them off the Monday. By the Tuesday, the schools were shut, and we were in a full national lockdown in January, which we needed because the numbers were getting really high. And we entered into homeschooling for the second time. And it was fine. The kids tried Google Classrooms. That lasted 2 days with Hetty, maybe, and maybe a few weeks with Izzy helping Benji do his. And mine just don't engage with Google Classrooms at all. So we gave up on that, and then I started setting things for Hetty to do, which again lasted about a week. It's just really hard for them, and in the end we settle into a kind of, I get on and do my thing, and I give them some things to do. I sit with them, I do some art, we do different things, and at the end of the day, they need to be happy, and I need to be happy, and actually we settled into that all right. I think they were doing less and less work, but they were doing things like cooking and making and kind of all sorts of things, really. If you actually listed all the things they were doing, their skills that they were building up were good. Graphic design, stuff like that. And if, heaven forbid, we have another lockdown and I have to home educate them, I probably won't even try with Google Classrooms or any kind of education in that way at all. Probably let it be self-led. I'd like to introduce you to Dinky Dweller Alex. Dinky Dweller Alex is a part-time pig farmer with Dinky Dweller Farmer Frank, but also a part-time model. Now, one of his recent modelling jobs that he really enjoyed was for Paperclip Weekly. I think he did a really good job. What do you think? And of course, like all the Dinkies, he likes to dance. Here he is, having a little dance. Go, Dinky Dweller Alex!
Oh my god. It's fine, I just don't want it fluttering in my face. Oh, please. go! Woohoo!
They've got the world's largest supersonic parachute in the world.
The world's largest supersonic parachute in the world.
Sorry, I didn't.
Is it the world's largest if it's not actually in this world?
That's very true.
It's actually not in this world, so it can't. Is it the world's largest?
What does the world even mean? Does
Well,
it mean
the planet.
Earth? Oh,
Yeah,
I guess it's.
the universe is largest.
It might not be. Like some aliens somewhere.
17. Solar system, maybe. Those are some ergonomic office chairs.
actually, they land and there's a big McDonald's takeaway drive-through.
Nah, they've photographed Mars before. They'd know if there were things on it.
Yeah, they land on there and then they cut the cameras and then there's just a screen saying, "You got coconut mold. We never landed on Mars."
Coke.
Oh, do you not know what coconut mold is?
So now they're back at school, and that has its own challenges of settling them back into school. Anxieties, new routines. I wish the schools would concentrate more on the mental health of children rather than catch up. I'm fed up with it, and it upsets me and disappoints me really the ways the schools go with straight in lessons, not realising that a lot of these kids just haven't done much, and a lot of these kids are anxious and have all sorts of things to deal with, and the schools are just all about education, which I think is really sad and really not very helpful. So that's kind of where we're at now. The schools have gone back. We've got this plan of action. We've got the vaccine. Matthew's been vaccinated. Hopefully it won't be too long until I am. Let's hope I don't get COVID before then. And then we just have to hope and pray that we don't get variants that won't be stopped by the vaccine. I feel, all the way through this, there's been, we'll give you good news and then we'll take it away, the next day. One news report is, yay, we got a vaccine. And the next day is, oh, there's a new variant that, the vaccine might not prevent. And it's constantly like that. It's constantly optimistic. Oh no, we'll take that away, and something awful will happen. You go from feeling vaguely positive to feeling sick on a daily basis, and I think it feels like it's an uphill road, and it's sometimes the exhaustion gets to you of not trying to think too far into the future and not being hopeful. You're plodding along trying to get up the hill and hoping at some point you'll get to the top, but every few steps there seems to be another hurdle, and there's constantly this underlying anxiety, I suppose, that is there, even if it's not the forefront of your mind. It's there, and it would be nice to get to a place where it's not there. I think once I've had the vaccine, that will make me feel a little bit more relaxed, and I have got vaccine envy, those that have been vaccinated, and you can see a different behavioural change in those that have. You can see, even though they're not supposed to be, older people meeting up and not worrying so much and wearing masks, and I kind of don't blame them on one hand, but on the other hand, it's not fair really. Everybody should still be doing their bit until everybody's prevented or everybody's vaccinated. So we'll just have to see what happens in the future. Who knows? Now you just don't know what's ever going to happen. I think I've definitely got a pandemic phobia, and I think a lot of people will. So I don't want to end this on a bad note, because I think a lot of good things have come out of this year, for me personally, and as a whole. I think we're pulling together, we're helping, we're thinking about others. I think people are thinking about those little ripple effects of doing something good and then somebody else seeing that they're doing something good. And I think that has happened. I think it's brought out a passion in people to change. We have the Black Lives Matter, and now after the sad murder of the girl the other day, kind of fighting for the rights of women, and all these things that have been ingrained in society and we've accepted. I think now there's more of a passion to change. So I think coming out of the side that there will be this big shake up and change in the way people think. I think for me, how has it changed me? I think my friendships have changed. I think, I'm looking at who I'm spending time with more, rather than thinking I need lots of friends, concentrating on the ones that really make me feel good. I think, I never would have had the success I'm having in art if this hadn't happened. It's kind of taken me on a totally different route. And I love it. It's this real kind of juxtaposition of this anxiety and shit stuff that's going on, with the flip side of kind of being spurred on and having this momentum of, wanting to do good stuff and wanting to help, and whether that's helping my family by making money, or whether that's producing stuff that's helping people, or being able to give money to charity. I think that the pandemic's been a catalyst for that, and I made a decision in the autumn time really to really, with I think I've got a lovely new friend who kind of boosted that confidence a little bit, and it was nice to be able to discuss things with her and move things on. And it's been a lot of hard work of social media, and people think social media, people who are promoting themselves and things, you feel like people are thinking, oh, she's sharing something again, but it's the only way really to get that momentum going and that ball rolling. And I feel like I've really done that, and I'm really proud of myself, I think, for the momentum that I've created, and the work that I've picked up and the response I get from people. I do get imposter syndrome on a fairly regular basis, as I think a lot of people do. And you get waves of feeling quite confident about what you're doing, and you get waves of feeling like you're rubbish. But I suppose now, as the momentum builds and I see what people are saying, I have to take that. And it feels a real privilege to do a lot of the work that I do with commissions and things. And it feels like I've made all these friends all over the country, and some out of the country. You know, you have these little connections and these little conversations, and that's really special. Yeah, and it's just fun trying new things. So I'll show you some of the animations I've done, a few TikToks. You know, there's been a lot of fun, and I've been on a big learning curve, and I hope that carries forward into the future. And I hope good things will come.
So it's a bit chilly, but I'm going to open the kiln. This is brush on glaze that I'm using. That's done now. Come back tomorrow in the morning, open it up, let it cool down. Just going to tidy up now. Yay! Favourite bit. Not. Right.